Hello and welcome to the Key Stage 4 Curriculum and Options presentation. This replaces the presentation that would have been given at the Key Stage 4 Options evening. Welcome to Key Stage 4. Your children will be entering Year 10 and Year 11, and this is referred to as the Key Stage 4 part of their education. During this time, students study at GCSEs, and they may study some BTECs, and we also have a Cambridge National course. Some courses are compulsory, and other courses may be chosen by the students. Students will receive the following grades. For GCSE courses, they'll receive grades 9 to 1, and for BTEC courses, and for the Cambridge National, they could be awarded a distinction star, a distinction, a merit, or a pass. Now, to look at the grades in more detail, many of us will be familiar with the old A star to G grades, but not so familiar with the new 9 to 1 grade. So this table gives you a rough comparison of what the old grades and what the old grades are worth and the new grades equivalents. So here we have the strong pass, grade 5, and we can see that that sits between grade B and grade C. So the strong pass is at a higher standard than the old grade C. Grade 4 is what's referred to as the standard pass, and that's roughly equivalent to the old grade C. Students who don't achieve grade 4 in English or maths at GCSE will be required to resit it at college in order to try and attain that standard. Looking at the higher grades, we can see that grade 7 is roughly equivalent to grade A, and a grade A star is between the new grade 8 and grade 9. Grade 9 is higher than the old A star and is awarded to the top 5% of students in the country. Looking at the lower grades, we can see that a grade 3 lies between a grade D and E, and a grade 2 lies between an E and F, and finally a grade 1 lies between a grade F and a grade G. Looking at the curriculum for Key Stage 4, all students will study the core curriculum of English for 9 periods per fortnight, Maths for 9 periods per fortnight, Science for 8 periods, Religious Studies for 5 periods, PE for 2 periods per fortnight. PE does not have an exam, unless you choose sport as an option, in which case there will be an exam. Students will also choose an additional 3 options, each studied for 5 periods per fortnight. Now, the question we get about our core curriculum is, why is religious education compulsory? It's compulsory because we believe that it's important in developing a rounded individual. It's been added as it helps students to understand and make sense of the world in which we live. GCSE in religious studies is highly regarded. It's a qualification that demonstrates that students are able to think critically and evaluate arguments and to appreciate different opinions. It also develops respect, tolerance, and understanding and knowledge of the world in which we live. The skills learned are also transferable to other GCSE qualifications and to further study, particularly for English and for history and geography. Any subject that's going to require you to be able to think critically and to be able to evaluate arguments and so forth. During religious education, students will explore religious beliefs around the problems of suffering, evil, and the challenges it poses for believers today. For example, if there was a God, why would we have coronavirus? It'll consider controversial topics such as abortion, euthanasia, and the afterlife. And these are things that students generally enjoy getting stuck into in terms of classroom debate. We'll consider the Big Bang Theory, evolution, environmental responsibility, and global citizenship, which are obviously extremely current. Issues surrounding marriage, family life, and contraception, divorce, and remarriage. And it'll consider racism, gender, prejudice, and discrimination in the 21st century. So as you can see from the overview there, it's a subject which has got great pertinence to students' everyday lives and the world in which we live. So now we come to student pathways. We have students with a vast range of abilities and talents, and for that reason it's not suitable to put them all onto the same pathway. When we're considering pathways, our aim is to encourage students to take courses that will challenge them and courses that we believe that they can be successful in. We won't start somebody on a course if we don't think it's going to be the right course for them. We want to make sure we allow students to gain qualification that will be valuable and will allow them to compete with students nationally and internationally for the best opportunities. In order to do this, students are placed onto one of three pathways. We have a blue, a green, and a yellow pathway. I'm going to go through the difference between the three pathways. The blue pathway is the most complex one. If you're on the blue pathway, it means that you'll be studying for the EBAC, that's the English Baccalaureate academic suite of qualifications. Those include English language and literature, which everyone will study, include mathematics, again, everyone will study this, and they include dual science, which everyone will study unless you're studying triple science. Just to explain dual science, dual sounds like there's two sciences. It actually covers all three sciences, biology, chemistry, and physics, but it's worth 2 GCSEs. If you study triple science, you have three separate GCSEs. It includes a modern or ancient language. In our case, it'll be French because students have studied that since year 7. And you'll study history or geography as your humanities subject. If you achieve passes in that combination of 5 subjects, it means that you've achieved the EBAC suite of qualifications. You don't get a extra certificate for that, but this particular combination of subjects is sought after by certain universities and definitely provides a broad, balanced academic curriculum that will enable you to go on to study anything you wish at further and higher education. If you achieved a grade 4 or more in all those subjects, you would have the EBAC suite at a standard pass, and if you achieved a grade 5, it would be the EBAC suite at a strong pass. And we strongly believe that it's advantageous for students with the ability to study these subjects to do that. So we would urge you, if you are on the blue pathway, to make sure that you pick those subjects. You'll know which colour pathway you're on because on your options form will be a coloured dot that will be either blue, green, or yellow. When we do this, asking students to pick a humanities subject is normally fine. The subject that students are reluctant to pick is the language. So why would you want to study a language? Well, students who study languages perform better in tests. Speaking more than one language increases your brain's capacity. It improves your memory and it actually reduces your risk of developing Alzheimer's. There's quite a bit of research around this now. It's to do with the way the brain has to work to convert from one language to another. Studying languages makes you more articulate and improves your literacy skills in your own language. The links between English and other languages are many and varied, and therefore it helps you to understand your own language better and to broaden your vocabulary. You can understand and talk to lots more people when you travel abroad. And ultimately, English isn't enough. Not everyone speaks or wants to speak English. So 5 reasons to say oui to French. Language skills are in high demand with employers. Jobs market is extremely competitive, and having a language really sets you apart from other applicants. You can earn between £3,000 and £10,000 more per year for having a language. So you could think about what you're going to spend that on. It might be a holiday where you can speak this language. Speaking languages opens up new and exciting career options. If you want to travel as part of your job, live abroad, or experience new cultures, it will be valuable in helping you do that. Around 75% of the world population does not speak English, so being able to converse with someone in their own language means that they're more likely to do business with you, and it's also extremely impressive for somebody for you to be able to speak their language. Learning a language also significantly develops your communication skills. So if you want to be better at negotiating, decision making, problem solving, then learning languages will help you. So the question really is, why would you not take a language if you could? On the blue pathway, you are able to select triple science and you're able to select computer science. These courses aren't necessarily for everybody, and we'll be looking carefully at who selects each of those subjects to ensure that it is the right subject for them. I mentioned dual science before. It gets you 2 GCSEs. Triple science is 3 GCSEs, and that's why it's one of your option subjects. If you study triple science, you will receive 3 separate science GCSEs, one in biology, one in chemistry, and one in physics. You have to be good at science for doing this, and you have to like science because you will be doing science on some days twice a day if you choose triple science. If you wish to choose computer science, The thing to be aware of for computer science is that it's heavily mathematical, so your math skills need to be really strong. If you wanted to do something with IT but not computer science isn't the course for you, then you might pick the iMedia course. So as I say, students who select computer science and triple science will be checking that it's the right course for them, because as we say, we don't want to make sure that we put students on courses in which they're successful. We have experience of students taking these courses where they weren't really the right course for them, and it ends up that students want to drop it and then have to pick something else. So we want to avoid that happening. We need to pick the right courses in the first place. The green pathway. If you're on the green pathway, we don't think that a full EBAC suite of subjects is necessarily right for you, but you will have to pick either geography, history, or French. You can pick the full EBAC suite by picking geography and French, or history and French if you wish, or you could pick geography and history if you wish, but we would advise you to take some advice from your teachers before doing that. If you're on the yellow pathway, you may select geography, history, or French if you wish to do so, but do consider the advice of your teachers before doing that. And that's the overview of the pathways. And now we come to completing the options form. What we will want you to do is to select 5 subjects in order of preference. Your first preference being number 1, and your least favourite option being number 5. Of these, you'll be allocated 3 subjects. So they're not formed into blocks yet. We will decide what the subject blocks are based on student choices. So we'll try and fit as many choices as we possibly can. If you're on the blue option pathway, that's the academic EBAC pathway, and you will be studying a language. So the first choice is pre-selected, and that's French. Your second choice must be either history or geography. So you'll put a number 2 next to either history or geography. For your final 3 choices, you can pick any other subjects on the form. You could pick another one from the first column if you wish, but you can pick any other 3 subjects, and you will be allocated 3 of those when we've got all the forms and we've analysed the option choices. So an example form, obviously French is first. This person chose history second. Music was their third choice, and they would accept art and design or drama if we couldn't fit any of those. Moving to the green pathway. First choice must be geography or history or French, so something from the first column for the first choice. The following 4 choices can come from any column, so you could pick 2 from the first column if you wish, but you can pick your 4 choices from anywhere on the sheet. So as an example, this person chose geography for their humanities subject. They chose design technology, sports studies, and if we couldn't fit those, then they would take travel and tourism or drama. Looking at the yellow options form, for the yellow options form, you select 5 subjects in order of preference from anywhere on the sheet. So as an example, you could be picking art and design as your first, travel and tourism as the second, iMedia as the third, and if that couldn't be fitted in, then you would do geography or you would do sports studies. That's the options forms. For sending in your option choices, it's very likely that school would be closed, so returning the options form won't be easy to do. What I would actually like you to do is to send your option choices by email directly to me. So that would be the sort of thing I'd be looking for. So email address for me is reperry@padgateacademy.co.uk, and just say which child the option choices are for. And if you could list your preferences in order from 1 to 5 and send that to me, and then I can start working on the options. So how do we make good option choices? Well, the things you should do is make sure that you know what a course involves. So you have the course guide, you can check out all the details of all the courses. Check that it will support your future career plans. Discuss your choices with parents, carers, family, friends, other students already studying the course. So if you can get in touch with students from year 10 or 11, that would be good. Ask for more details of courses if you're unsure what to pick. Now, there's every chance that we're not in school at this point, but we've got school email and you're able to contact teachers and ask for more detail of the courses. Do pick a subject because you like it and you're good at it. It stands to reason that if you enjoy something and you have a talent for it, then you will perform better. Do not pick subjects because your friend has picked it and you like the teacher. By all means, discuss your choices with your friends, but it's your future, not your friend's future. So make sure they're the right courses for you. Don't pick it because you like the teacher, because they may not be teaching it next year. What happens next? You need to send in your options form by Thursday 27th of March. That's the deadline. Now, again, as I say, we're unlikely to be in school at this point, so there are a number of ways you can get that form in. You can either fill it in electronically by following the link on the school website. You can send in a paper copy of the form, so you can drop the form into reception. Or if you struggle with either of those, you can just email your option choices to me. So you can email them direct to me. When we have those, we will consider your preferences and we will allocate you 3 of your option subjects. Now, this is the first step in this options process. So if you're not happy with the 3 that you've been allocated, then we can have a conversation about that. It's not set in stone at this point. We've got a way to go. This is just the beginning of this consultation process. If a class is oversubscribed, then the following criteria will be taken into account when awarding the place in the class. First of all, meeting the deadline for submission of the options form, because when those forms comes in, we will gather together what everyone's asked for and we'll start allocating places in classes. So if your form is late, then there's every chance that a class might be full and you wouldn't get your first choice. Attendance is important, because if you're someone who comes to school every day, then you're going to make good use of the places you're allocated. If you're somebody whose attendance is poor, then you're less likely to make good use of that place, because there's a pattern of poor attendance. The ability to be successful in the subject. This is absolutely crucial. We will make sure that students are going to be successful in the subject, and that will be one of the criteria for allocation if a course is oversubscribed. Focus in the subject. So if you work hard in a subject, if it's oversubscribed, you will be higher up the list than somebody who doesn't work hard in the subject. If a class is significantly undersubscribed and is not viable, it will not run. Schools cannot run extremely small classes. So we'll be looking at one of your other option preferences if a class was undersubscribed. Students and parents will be notified of the allocated option choices once we've analysed them. And as I say, this is only the start of this process. So if you're not happy with what you've been allocated, then we can have a conversation around that and see what the other possibilities are. I hope this presentation has been useful for you and has answered lots of your questions. If you do have any questions, please do feel free to contact me via the email at the school or by telephone. Thank you very much.